So here's something my brain does. Does your brain do this? Anytime that I experience a moment of genuine joy, like real joy, the joy of being, which joy is flowing there all the time, right? And that's true joy. That is lasting joy. It's unconditional joy. It is the joy that you can get to and experience at any moment. And any time that I let myself have that, I find that peace, that presence, the mind misinterprets it. Because really it can't understand it. I don't believe that the mind can really grasp what unconditional joy is. The mind can't grasp presence. The mind can't grasp being. It can only think. It can't feel. And it is bound to this realm of limited dimensionality. So it can't access true being. And when it sees it, it really doesn't understand. So what happens every time that I am in a state like this is that it makes a recording. It makes a recording of the conditions. It carefully notes all of the details that it can about the environmental conditions, environmental inside and outside. What were the conditions of this moment? And then it labels those conditions the way. This is the way to happiness. And it keeps updating that definition of the way. Oh, this is the path. Oh, this is the path. Oh, I get it now. This is the path. Completely misunderstanding that the experience of joy in that moment was precisely to do with the total surrendering of condition, with the absolute relinquishing of any prerequisite for joy. And in that decision, we give up waiting and experience being. Presence, the present moment, whatever you want to call it, doesn't matter. It's the same thing. There are only two states, it would appear. There is waiting, and there is being. And when we are in waiting, we are not being. And we are waiting for being to return, because being is where all of the pleasant feeling and the peace abides, where it rises, where it emanates from. And when we are being, it's because we have chosen to give up waiting. We've finally relinquished waiting and say, I'm done waiting to feel good. I'm done waiting to feel good. I'm done waiting for feeling good to feel a specific and certain way as previously established by a mental definition, by a mental snapshot of a moment where I felt good, and then the brain said, oh, this is why you felt good. So, following logic, if we reproduce these conditions, then we will feel good again. That's not where the good feeling came from, not at all. And so it just gets itself way off track, and again, misses the point and puts itself back into a state of waiting. Waiting for those conditions, those special, magical, wonderful conditions to arise precisely the way that they were, and then maybe we will feel good again. Oh, wouldn't that be nice? happy moment it takes a snapshot of and calls a prerequisite. It calls the conditions of that moment the prerequisites to joy. When the entryway to joy is the release of all prerequisite to it. It's a funny thing, the mind. That's really all I have to say. Just further noticing. I've noticed this before, but these words, this description came more readily this morning as I was observing it happening in me. Saying, yesterday I experienced this profound lightness, and now the mind is saying, where is it? Where is it? How do we get back to it? What do we do? And I could see it wanting to, it was analyzing the situation and saying, how did we get there? What were the conditions of the access point? How did we find it? It's not hidden. In fact, it's so out in the open, so plainly obvious that the mind totally misses it. Because it is a surrendering of condition. The door is passed through when you stop looking for it, because there is no door. There's nowhere to go. When we give up waiting to feel good, when we give up waiting to like ourselves, we automatically shift into the other state, the state of being. Being is giving up waiting. Can you feel how waiting is like held breath? That's what waiting is. And being is just breathing. It's just not holding the breath anymore. It's no longer waiting for something, anything. Giving up waiting to feel good means you give yourself the permission to feel good right now. And then you flow. You enter into the flow state, the state of being, the state of connection. It's presence, whatever, again. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Also, side note, has anyone else noticed or experienced, I'm just curious, doesn't really matter, that time has changed tremendously? I feel less and less that time is not moving. Time is not passing. Yes, environmentally, externally, there appears to be change. The sun moves, the light changes, the time that is recorded on the clock changes, the dates change, but it's like all of that is passing and yet time is not. I don't know how to describe it. I'm very aware of this sort of fixed point. That it's like, yes, all of this change is occurring around change, but it's cyclical, and it kind of feels like the appearance of change. I don't know how to describe it. It does not feel like time is passing, is what I mean. Time is no longer passing. Time is standing still. Everything is still moving, and yet it feels still. I don't know. It's fascinating. And anyway, that's it. That's all I got. Have a beautiful day.